Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Speaking at the 590 Congress, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki announced that large public investments and increased public spending will be among the chief tools used by the government to reinvigorate the Polish economy following the global coronavirus pandemic. One of the main investments that the Prime Minister focused on in his speech was the Central Communication Port, a mega airport which will ultimately have the capacity to serve 100 million passengers annually. The Prime Minister said that the airport would be a symbol of the civilizational advancement that generations of Poles dreamt of. Other investments mentioned by Morawiecki include the canal on the Vistula Spit, the expansion of the Port of Gdynia, and new wind farms to be constructed in the Baltic Sea. The 590 Congress is one of Poland's most important annual economic conferences and is a place for an exchange of ideas between entrepreneurs, managers, politicians, scientists and economic experts.
We have managed to save more than 5 million jobs and we now have the European Union's lowest unemployment rate. It's now time to go on the offensive. Our call for action is the slogan of this year's 590 Congress, Poland 2030. For me, Poland in 2030 will be a Poland that has benefited from the National Recovery Plan, this new Marshall Plan, which this time will not be taken away from us by anyone.
As the number of daily new coronavirus cases decreased sharply throughout April, the Polish government has decided to begin a gradual unfreezing of the economy that will see restaurants, hotels and schools reopening at different points in May. People are already able to visit shopping malls and cultural institutions again. Judging by the interest, business owners say there seems to be a lot of pent-up demand.
Poles have rushed to buy clothes and home interior decorations as the government allowed shopping malls and DIY stores to reopen as part of an easing of coronavirus restrictions. New coronavirus cases dropped sharply in Poland over the month of April, and the government decided to unfreeze the economy in May, starting with the youngest children returning to schools, as well as reopening shopping malls and museums. Large crowds showed up in a shopping mall in the centre of the capital. One of the people glad to be able to go on a shopping spree again was 27-year-old Naes, Adriana Gawinska, who says that she thinks that the country has passed the worst stage of the pandemic. The reopening wasn't too early. Coronavirus is a virus, like flu. It is different, but similarly, most infections take place in February and March, so I think the worst is over. I am a nurse. 30% of adult Poles have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and 10% are fully vaccinated, according to the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control. The government plans further to ease curbs in the coming days. Hotels may reopen at 50% capacity on May the 8th, but without restaurants or spa facilities, and from the 15th of May, restaurants and bars will be allowed to serve food and drink outdoors.
The tensions between the Czech Republic and Russia have flared up again after supporters of the Russian biker group, Night Wolves, travelled to the Czech Republic to commemorate Red Army soldiers. The pro-Kremlin and revisionist bikers were met by a noisy protest at a Prague cemetery, where protesters took the opportunity to protest against the role Russian military intelligence played in the 2014 explosions in a Czech arms depot that killed 2 workers.
The event took place against a background of tense relations between the Czech Republic and Russia. Prague says that the ammunition depot explosions in 2014 were the work of Russian GRU military intelligence agents, allegations which Moscow has denied. Nightwolf supporters walked through a part of the Olsany cemetery dedicated to the graves of fallen Soviet soldiers. Jarosław Foldina, a member of the far-right Czech Freedom and Direct Democracy Party who took part in the commemorations, said it was important to be able to express opinions freely. The option to express opinions freely, not compulsorily as it used to be in the past, but freely, and to pay tributes. That is a question of honour and morale for me, especially nowadays when these things are questioned or relativised, and I would say that they are relativised and questioned systematically and even more than in the past. And that really bothers me. I thought that the 30 years since the Velvet Revolution in the Czech Republic would develop differently. As the group held their commemorations, protesters continued to demonstrate outside the cemetery walls. Protester Jiří Hila said that those commemorating the soldiers were doing it as a pretense and were really promoting Russian interests in the Czech Republic. It is necessary to create a counterbalance to Czech collaborators whose goal is to support Putin's regime in the Czech Republic. They are trying to come here, even without their Russian leaders on the motorcycles, and under the pretense of paying tributes. They are promoting Putin's regime and the pro-Russian stance. The Night Wolves group is under United States sanctions for its role in a pro-Russian separatist insurgency in Ukraine, and Russian President Vladimir Putin has in the past participated in their parades and rallies.
SpaceX, the company owned by Tesla billionaire Elon Musk, has for the first time in human history managed to launch and then successfully land a rocket that is capable of taking mankind to other planets. Musk's ambition is to perfect and then mass-produce the enormous but very cheap and reusable rocket that has the potential to revolutionize space travel by drastically reducing the cost of sending payloads into orbit and beyond.
SpaceX successfully launched and landed its latest Starship prototype, SN-15, during another high-altitude test flight from Boca Chica, Texas on Wednesday evening. The Starship SN-15 is a test model heavy-lift rocket developed by billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's private space company to carry humans and 100 tons of cargo on future missions to the Moon and Mars. Similar test flights of the Starship models SN-9 and SN-10 in February and early March ended with fiery explosions, one during the rocket's final descent and another shortly after a successful touchdown in a vertical position. The Starship rocket is the company's next-generation fully reusable launch vehicle, the centre of Musk's ambitions to make human space travel more affordable and routine. NASA announced in April that it has awarded a contract to SpaceX for $2.9 billion to use Starship to take astronauts to the surface of the Moon once more.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.